Toastmasters and guests. Some of you may know we have a mayor's election coming up, February 24th. And as I know many of you in general, here in the general population, people are so busy today that no one actually has time to follow elections. So I'm going to give you tonight a little preview of the mayor's election, the candidates, and blah, blah, blah. So we all know the mayor is Rahm Emanuel. The things to know about the race, there's 5 candidates, including the mayor. We have Doc Wells, who was Doc Walls. He was chief of staff for Harold Washington way back when. He's kind of a lesser candidate, usually gets 1 or 2%. We have Chuy Garcia. He's the main competitor to Rahm Emanuel. Chuy Garcia is currently, he's in the Cook County Board. He has a long history in Chicago. He was a state senator, he was an alderman, and he's kind of been a progressive. He was more popular maybe 20 years ago, but he was encouraged to run for mayor. The fourth candidate is Robert Fioretti. He's an alderman of the 2nd Ward. And basically, the mayor and the other aldermen kind of drew him out of his ward for this election. The aldermen are running as well as the mayor. So Mr. Fioretti took it personally. He decided to run for mayor. I know him a little bit personally. Some of his big issues are the schools, and he's probably going to get about 10% of the vote. The last candidate is a Southside businessman, Willie Wilson. He owns some McDonald's franchises and I think a medical supply business. And the thing about him is he's put $1 million of his own money into the campaign, which for the Chicago market is a lot of money. So that makes him a serious competitor as well. A few other things about the election. Like I said, it's February 24th. Early voting actually started Monday. But everyone assumes that Mayor Rahm will be reelected. He has so much money. He's such a strong personality. He's a celebrity. He's on David Letterman, goes to Washington. People in LA give him money, that he can't be beat. And although that's probably true, there is a slight chance he can't be beat. So a few of the reasons why he could be beaten and why you should consider voting, especially if you maybe like someone else. The main thing to know about the election is any candidate to win needs 50% in the first round, February 24th. Right now, the mayor's polling at 40% or 45%. So if he gets 50%, the mayor's race is over and he becomes the next mayor. Now, if he gets under 50%, they have a runoff between the mayor and the second top 2 finisher. So the other candidates, like I said, Doc Walls usually gets 1%. Fioretti and Wilson are both going to get 10%. And the main challenger, Jesus, Chuy is his middle name, Garcia, he's going to probably get 18 or 20%. He has a lot of the support of the big unions like SEIU and Karen Lewis, the teachers union. So right now it looks like those 2 will be the runoff. I think it's in April. So the rest of the speech I'm going to focus on these 2 candidates, Chuy and Rahm Emanuel. Now the main difference is, and the reason of my speech in general, is to get you and anyone out there that watches in the video for more people to participate. This is the main goal. Now, Rahm Emanuel, love him or hate him, he's done some good things and bad things, but mostly he's known for the school issue, closing down schools, trying to, make the schools better. He's also known for money. I believe a Tribune article recently said in the last 4 or 5 years he's got $30 million in donations. Half the money has come from 100 people. So he's basically known as a friend of the rich. He's brought a lot of corporations and business to Chicago. Yet what are the trade-offs? Maybe tax rebates or favors to get these people to bring their money. And a lot of people think he's focused on the downtown. The recent snowstorm, I live downtown. A day later, the streets were perfect. I said that on my Facebook page. Yet, if you live in one of the neighborhoods, side streets were filled with snow. So basically, the mayor has somewhat of a reputation of kind of catering to the upper middle class, what have you. Now, the main challenger, like I said, will probably be Jesus Garcia. He's the neighborhood candidate. So you look at Rahm Emanuel, he's kind of the top down. And Jesus Garcia is from the bottom up. He thinks the neighborhoods need to have more money. Generally, the lower middle classes, the public schools should be better. Rahm Emanuel is a strong opponent of charter schools, which kind of tends to favor maybe the top 20% of the population. Now, some other things about the election, why Rahm Emanuel, there's a slight chance he can be beaten. There's a lot of undecided voters, maybe 25% are undecided. And generally, in most elections, undecided voters, they go for the challenger. So if we look at the election now, say Rahm is at 45 and Chuy's at 20, let's assume Chuy Garcia is going to get a good portion of votes from the other candidates that can't run in the runoff. So right there you have probably Chuy at 30% and the mayor at 40 or 50. And then the big thing with the unions, with Chuy Garcia and the unions, is they're going to help him with a lot of money, and they're going to have boots in the ground. What you're going to see, if there is a runoff, you're going to have Chuy Garcia get a few $1 million from these unions, and you're also going to have boots on the ground. Thousands of volunteers, hopefully in this case. Right now I think he has 2,000 volunteers. You're going to have thousands of volunteers going door to door, and you're going to get the money in the commercials. So he'll have a few million, maybe a little more, but Rahm is still going to have much more money. Now another thing that makes Rahm weak is he doesn't really have the boots on the ground. In the old days we had a Mayor Daley, and the other Daley, they had citywide organizations where political workers were knocking on doors, forcing people to vote, maybe even filling out their vote themselves. But Rahm Emanuel, he's kind of a different candidate. He doesn't have this machine organization, and right now he does have a bit of a baggage. He has a very high unfavorable ratings. So this is what makes the election interesting. And in my opinion, it's not a question of who would be the best candidate. I'll probably vote for Chuy, but they both have good qualities. But the main thing to keep in mind is that generally in these mayor elections, February, it's the worst month of the year. Basically, less than 40% of the people vote. The main thing is we get a strong turnout. If we had a strong turnout of 70 or 80% of the people, it's not a question of picking the right or wrong candidate. It's just a question of the general population having their say, getting the candidate they deserve. So let's just raise our hand. Who lives in Chicago? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I hope I've convinced at least a few of you to vote. Maybe tell your friends, and we can look forward to an exciting mayor's election. Thank you.